Here is your video for retake of learning target 9, simplify radical expressions using properties of roots. And these are the first two problems that you had on your test related to this learning target. The first one is adding to things with square roots in them. Basically, you can think of this as combining like terms. So here you have 4 square roots of 5. Here you have 6 square roots of 5. So all you need to do then is just combine them together to make 10 square roots of 5. You do not add the 5's together, okay, to make a square root of 10. You just combine the coefficient in front of the square root of 5. So 4 square roots of 5 plus 6 square roots of 5 make 10 square roots of 5. Okay. Over here in multiplying radicals, remember we had something that looked like this, just as a general rule. Square root of a times square root of b equals the square root of a times b. Okay, so if we apply that here, we have the square root of 3 times the square root of 10. We can multiply 3 times 10, which is 30, and make it just the square root of 30. Okay. Here we have, these are the last two problems from your test. Here we have square root of 50 divided by square root of 4. And the general rule for this then was if you have the square root of a divided by the square root of b, you can rewrite it as all under one radical, a divided by b, and then the square root of that whole thing. So if we apply that rule here, we have the square root of 50 divided by the square root of 4. If we put it all under one radical, get the square root of 50 divided by 4. You can simplify that a little bit to be the square root of 25 over 2. And then there are other ways to continue to simplify this. I'm sure that this right here would just be fine. But if you wanted to keep simplifying a little bit, you could do the square root of 25, which we know is 5, over the square root of 2. That would be equivalent. It's sometimes improper to write it like this, but they would be equivalent. Moving on to here, this is your basic distributive property. So you'll want to distribute the square root of 2 to each part of what's in these parentheses. The square root of 2 times the square root of 2, if you remember going back to this slide, square root of a times square root of b is just the square root of a times b. So that is basically what we have here, the square root of 2 times the square root of 2. And then the square root of 2 times 3 times the square root of 5. And here it's just like multiplying radicals like we were on the previous slide. So the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is just the square root of 4. And then the square root of 2 times the square root of 5 is the square root of 10. We can simplify a little bit further just because we know the square root of 4 is 2. So your final answer would be 2 plus 3 times the square root of 10. Okay, and that's as simple as it can get because we don't have a whole number for the square root of 10. Okay, so before you do the retake test for this learning target, why don't you try these? You can pause the video, copy them down, but we would like you to try these problems with operations on radicals.